Are you challenged by social confidence? You don't feel as confident in social situations as you would like to be. And therefore, you use labels like, oh, maybe I'm just not a people person or I'm just not good. And really, you want to be more confident socially. Well, today, I'm going to give you 3 tips that's really going to help you with your social confidence. And these are things that have helped me a lot with my social confidence. I used to, and if you stay until the end, I've got an extra point for you then. I used to really struggle with this. And I appreciate a lot of feedback I've been getting, by the way, on the podcast, because this seemed to be a common topic, social confidence. So I thought I'd make a episode specific on it. And I used to struggle with this. I used to be so conscious. I remember in situations when I was a teenager, I'd hide away in the toilet because I didn't know that many people there, or minimal people, and I'd hide away because I didn't want to be seen on my own. And it was only that people I had to be super confident with that I could hang out with, right? Or super comfortable with that I would hang out with. And it wasn't a good way to go. And even going back a few years ago, my confidence socially was a lot better because I'd done a lot through the years, going through university, making an effort, different friendship groups. But I can remember I went to a network event a fair few years ago before I really started going more down this route of self-esteem and confidence and working on my own journey. And I remember just like being scared to talk to anyone. It was just, oh, what happens if I talk over and they reject me? All these kind of things. Maybe you can relate to this, some of this narrative going on in your head. You're like, what if they think of me? What if I look silly? All these kind of things. And that's when our ego can get in the way. And it's like, oh, we don't want to look stupid. We don't want to humiliate ourselves in front of other people. So I decided to really start taking action on it and start working through on my own journey. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Now, admittedly, there's some situations where it's going to be more difficult than others. So if you're around a bunch of people, like your friends and family, your social confidence is probably going to be a bit higher. If you're with people you don't know, probably less so. But I'm fortunate enough that I developed it that when I'm with new people, I'm able to have conversations. Yes, there's always going to be a difference in confidence if I'm around my best mates to like I go into a room full of people I don't know. Of course, I'm going to be a bit more confident around my mates, interacting with them, and they know me, so I'm not really bothered what they're I'm not as worried what they're going to think because they know me, and I'm not going to do anything stupid or horrible, of course. But yeah, there's always going to be different points. And I can remember someone sharing with me at a network event, and I thought this individual seemed very confident, very nice. I was talking to her, and I remember her saying, "I'm not very good at talking to people," and I was like, "Oh, of course you." And I said it to her. I said, "Yes, you are. Like, we're having a good conversation, enjoying your company." Now, if she said to me, I was in a good state there. She's like, "Oh, I'm not enjoying talking to you." Yeah, it would been a bit of a knot, but it wouldn't have affected me. So I just kind of said that to her to build her confidence up a little bit. And the thing is, we need to tell ourselves that. And that goes on to our next point. We don't know what other people are thinking. Most of the time, people are as worried about themselves as others. You see some people are just uncomfortable going out in places alone, going for a meal by themselves or going to various things alone because we're so worried about what other people think of us. Right? I used to be a bit nervous about going for a meal on my own. Now I do it pretty comfortably and enjoy my own company. Now, this comes from our opinion of ourselves and what we think of ourselves, and also the opinion of others. But really, it does come back to us. And I'm going to go into 3 points in a moment. I just want to ask you, how is it helping you being really stuck in the same thoughts, the same lack of social confidence, and doing the same things again and again before we get onto our points? Because if you're anything like me, it didn't help me. So just before I touch on that, if you're someone who is struggling with like social confidence, maybe self-confidence in general, self-esteem, things like perfectionism, imposter syndrome, overwhelm, those kind of things, maybe they're impacting your personal life and or professional life from really getting where you want. Well, I've pulled together my 8-week, the self-esteem and confidence booster challenge, which is a systematic approach that's really going to help you improve in your confidence and your self-esteem. Now, it's going to be a simple system, like I said, but the early bird offer is going away Saturday. So don't hang about. If that's something that appeals to you, just click the link below to find out a little bit more about that. So let's go into some practical points now about improving your social confidence. The first thing is to do a little bit of a understanding, a bit of a recap of some of your beliefs you believe about yourself, because beliefs hold us back, what we believe about ourselves, other people in the world. Now, here we're mainly looking at the beliefs you've got about yourself, right? Although it can relate to other people. Maybe you've got a belief that other people are just mean, which is going to affect the way you go about life. But dominantly, these beliefs will come back to you, right? If you're lacking social confidence. So write down every belief you have about you, socially and relationships, all kinds of relationships, right? What are your beliefs? Just get them down on paper, write them down on the side of the page. I'm going to say have a big page when you get to this, and have 3 or 4 columns, okay? So the first column is you're just going to write down these beliefs, as many as possible. If you need to go on the second page, you can do, or even more. Maybe you've got a lot of beliefs. Okay, write down these beliefs. The second thing is you're going to write down, where do they come from? So maybe it's like, I'm stupid. People think I'm stupid. Well, maybe that came from some kid when you were 5 years old who said, you're stupid, because maybe you said something wrong in like, or the wrong answer or something in the class. Or maybe you just did something silly as a kid, and then some kid was just mean and they called you stupid, and they were just a kid as well. Right. But that stuck with you, right? So just even noting where these things come from, write it down. Now, sometimes you're going to have to give it a little bit of a thought. So don't worry about pinpointing exactly the point, but maybe like, well, I think that came from school. Maybe it came from teachers. Maybe it came from that time my guardian or my parents got angry with me. So then write down where they came from. And then ask yourself, the third column, like, what else would have to be, what else would I have to think or believe, or would have to be the case for that to be true, right? So now you ask yourself, what really is the up? So say you think I'm stupid, therefore people won't like me. It came from a kid when I was 5 years old saying it to me. What else would have to be true to believe that? Well, maybe everyone you ever met had to tell you were stupid. Maybe you would never have got a job. Maybe you would have to like never have done a certain target in school. And write down as many things as possible that would have to happen in order for you to believe that. Because what you're going to notice is actually, well, not all of those things are happening. So therefore, it's not really much evidence to suggest I'm stupid and people won't like me because of it. Right. And then the fourth one, just write down what's going to be a good alternative that you can believe. Okay. What is going to be a good alternative? Like, I'm just myself and the right people are like me, something like that. So writing these down, we'll start dishing out why some of these are absolute rubbish. So that's my first point, just doing a little bit of a recap. The second thing, 2 to 3 times a week, do something small, tiny socially, without alcohol. I'm going to say here, like, I mean, I've done things like scary things like go speed dating without alcohol, or all sorts of things like that. And most people there were drinking. Anyway, that's an example of something you could do. And if that's a bit of a jump for you, don't worry. That's too terrifying for some people, right? I've seen groups, they still have to go drinking and in groups to go to something like that. I just went on my own and just turned up. Well, technically I had a mate there who was going as well, but I came later, got there later. So do something small. It doesn't have to be that, by the way. It can be something like smiling at someone and asking them how they are. I used to be terrified to do that, just like say, hey, good morning to someone, right? I remember walking past 3 people in the street and say, good morning, smiled, ignored, good morning, smiled, ignored. good morning. Hey, how you doing? Really lovely gentleman with his dog said hello back to me. Obviously not the dog, the guy. I don't know. Maybe that's just a local thing. People were just miserable and it's in the morning or whatever. But anyway, I did the action. So something for you. You could just say good morning or just smile to someone, something small. Ideally person to person rather than online. But if you need to, it could be something small online. You could sign up for like a social event online, like something like Meetup, where they got all these events. And when you do it, no, regardless of whatever the outcome is, you're going to praise yourself. You're going to pat yourself on the back because that tells your brain to do more of that. And you say, I'm courageous. Well done, me, right, for doing it. This sounds simple, but think about it. When we're kids, we're reinforced for doing these small, simple things, like when we're learning to walk, if you're blessed enough to walk, or like learning to ride a bike, if you're fortunate enough to do that. We get these little like praises and stuff. Well, you can do that to yourself and it reinforces you to do more of it, right? Or when you're learning, if you're fortunate enough to speak, learning to actually say your name, right? Well done. Mum, mama. And then like we get praise and we get better at it. So you need to do this for yourself when you take these tiny little actions. And the third thing, think of someone who you believe has got a lot of social confidence and you want to observe them and what they, and you admire them. So just think of that person and write, whether you know them or you don't even have to know them, and then just write down their name and then write down all the things they do that is confident. And then what you can do for a week is just read that again and again and again, because you're reminding yourself. And as you write this stuff, you're going to invite it. One of my mentors always says, as you write, you invite. So write down the things that you're recognizing from someone else. And therefore you can start thinking, oh, they walk upright, they got a smile on their face. And then you start writing these things and reading these things that they're doing. And then just subtly, you can introduce that into your life. Okay. So those are the 3 points I've got for you. Just before I get to the final point, I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate your support as always. And I just want to give a quick reminder again that if you're someone who's stuck in the head, maybe a little bit of self-esteem and confidence, and I know I certainly have been, things like perfectionism, overthinking, overwhelm, maybe a combination of those are impacting your personal or professional life. Then a reminder that the self-esteem and confidence booster challenge, 8-week challenge, is coming up, and the early bird offer does end Saturday. So hit the link below to find out more about that, including some questions and success stories that you can learn from as well. So my final bonus point for you today is work on your physiology. When we change our state, we start to become more confident naturally. So just try this exercise for a start. It's very cliche, classic one in the personal growth industry, but it makes a big difference. Look in the mirror every single day. Not every single day, do this once, but you can do this every single day if you want. I didn't mean to say that. Look in the mirror every day, and for 2 minutes, stand like Superman or Wonder Woman. Hands on hips. If you're watching the video right now on YouTube, I'm sort of demonstrating it. But you're going to stand up, hands on hips. Just Google the Superman pose, and then put a smile on your face and look at yourself and notice how you feel. Because when you start doing those kind of exercises, you start practicing walking up straight in public, start practice smiling more by yourselves. That's going to change your state and how you feel. And therefore, when you do that, it starts changing the way you think slightly, and you're going to be more confident as a result of going to social environments. It's particularly effective, and I've done it many times, when you're about to go into a meeting in a work environment, stand in the Superman position and then go. I've done this before when I started sales calls. I used to like say these powerful things, smile, get upright, and I go onto the call, and they went pretty well. So changing your physiology, the way you're moving your body. If you've got slumped shoulders, you're down, you're looking all over the place, you're not going to feel confidence, but you can feel the confidence by just adjusting your body. Okay. So that's my final bonus point for you as well. Just practice changing your physiology in private. Okay. Once again, if you want to find out more about the challenge, you can click in the link below. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.